guys, this is Ray White at the Mushin Academy in Battle Creek, Michigan. Here with Daniel Cuda, here to show you guys some more techniques. Last time we went over dirty boxing techniques with the shoulder bump, and we're going to kind of continue in that same vein and show you techniques from that close range with that lead shoulder in close. Sometimes that happens because you move in close, and sometimes maybe you're shoulder rolling and the guy crowds you. We'll show you some options from that range and help you guys build out those techniques. Okay, so the first one from inside here. Before we were doing it from the shoulder bump with the grab, and now we'll do it as if we're both boxing and we're in close. He could have a clinch going on, but I'm going to pretend that I at least have an overhook if we're clinching. So if he clinches up, I've got an overhook on one side, but I'm going to use, from here I'm going to use elbow hinge, and I'm just going to hit him on the side of the head. And if he wants to hold for it, he's just going to put one pad on the other side and keep the other one out of the way. So if I'm here, I'm just going to come around and hit to the side. So if I'm in here like this, and I can't hit, I'm just going to hinge around and harass him like that. They're not hard hits. Illegal hits in boxing, but for MMA, this is a good position here where I can just give him shots, okay? So, if I'm in here, I want to get an overhook. You might have to pummel for it. So if I'm in here, I'm going to pummel it around. Once I'm here, I'm just going to work those shots. And I might have my head, should have my head protected, but here I'm just making a sandwich. Keeping his head here, and then just hitting. Pop. Okay, really simple. But that just might be enough of a distraction so I can open up these other shots, okay? Another option from this in close range is to reach around, grab the back of the head and peel, okay? So we do this a lot in the Thai clinch. We just wrap, and I'm gonna pull his head to my shoulder and kind of pull with my hip and my shoulder. I wanna close the gap between my hand and my shoulder, just like a wrench, grabbing two sides of the nut. If he turns his head away from me, I can grab it this way. If I want to reach all the way around and I can turn his head, this is the best way. If he happens to if I get under his chin, I can do the same thing. Okay, once I have him turned, then I'm just going to go with an overhand. Okay, or I can go with the down elbow, or I can use that as the opening for the shoulder bump. Okay? So I can shoulder bump and uppercut. I can also sandwich the head and then just use that ballistically and create a bounce here. So once I get this open, I can relax my grip and just create space and just sit here and bounce his head a little bit. Okay? I don't want to do that to him because it sucks. But if I had this, I'd literally just be hammering my shoulder, clapping my hand and my shoulder together, okay? And trying to drive that forward and make his head bounce here, okay? We can bounce it here. We can also bounce it off the forearm and the bicep. So I'm bouncing his head that way. So shoulder, bicep, elbow, and the forearm. In JKD, we have what's called the shake and bake. So if I can loosen this up, I can bounce it out, go with a punch, bounce it out, go with the elbow. I can bounce it out and go with a headbutt. And in JKD, they bounce it out, punch, bounce it out, elbow, bounce it out, punch, or bounce it out and headbutt. So once the guy's head gets shaken around and the brain starts bouncing around in the brain pan, it's very disorienting. And again, if he's clinching up with me and he's holding tight, I'm just trying to shake him up, okay? Just so I can get the shot, or bounce him just enough so I can go back to striking. And then of course, from the reach around here, just like I did, I have the secured uppercuts once I have the range, and secured elbows. So reach around and hit, reach around and grab. All right, so those are a couple options from close range, reaching around behind, or just hinging my elbow and striking, but just kind of hiding it here from the low line and bringing it up. So if we're here, If we're close, he doesn't really see this until he gets hit with it because it's coming around outside his normal vision. Okay. The other ones from here is just the scoops. So if he's mimicking me and he's got his arm down and we clash, okay, we get in here like this, and I have a palm over his arm. I'm just going to scoop his arm to the outside like that, and I got some shots at the floating ribs and the kidneys here. Okay. Once I feel him resist this at all, I go with an overhand, uppercut, overhand. Okay? So you can, heat and hold for a 4 count. I can strike my way in, and I just move in. And if his hand is low like mine, I just pull it out of the way. Take a couple shots. As soon as I feel resistance, I throw over, up, over. Okay? Now, same thing if I'm palm down. Maybe his hand is on top of mine. Now he's got focus mitts on, but maybe he's kind of got that pin position here, and he's pinning my arm down. Okay? Here I was kind of pinning his down, and that might be something that you go for. So I go here, and he's waiting for this one. So maybe he's got his other glove up here, and he's kind of protecting himself. That's why I go here a couple times until I can try to influence his cover. Maybe he does that to me. So now he's got his forearm on top of me. I'm going to scoop from the bottom. Same pull. Okay, just like that. So I just scoop on his elbow. So he's pinning down to my arm. I'm just going to scoop it out. Take my shots here. If I feel him resist, I go back over, up, over. Okay, so I can punch my way in here, and now I kind of knew what I wanted to do. I go here. This arm drag or this scoop is also just good for grappling. Okay? For back takes. Anytime I feel, a lot of times for wrestling you're grabbing and pulling. But how do I transition into that from my striking? Jab, cross, hook, enter, jab, cross, hook, cross, enter. But I see a lot of guys like this position. Bang, here. And then if we get close and if he's mirrored me at all, there you go. Okay? I can just go with my striking. And that was actually the scoop to the shoulder grab, to the body turn. Okay? If he happens to follow it. Or again, back take. Could be anything you like to do. Whether if you want to take his back, get your hooks in, go for rear naked choke. But the main thing is just from the clamshell guard. If his arm's on top, I scoop from the bottom. My arm's on top, I scoop from the top. Bam! Like that. As soon as I feel tension, I let it go and I go over the top. And then just finish it off. Okay? So I close the gap. We clash, and his arm's here. This time he's pinning my arm from the top. I'm on the bottom. I'm going to scoop from the bottom. It's going to expose his floating ribs here. I'm going to keep pulling on his arm until I feel him pull back down. I go over him, over him, and I sneeze as I do it. Okay, we can cut that out. Okay, so I close the gap. I've got he's got his forearm pinning mine down when we clash. I'm going to use my palm up, my fingers here. I'm just going to scoop the elbow. Throw shots to the body until I feel him pulling down. And I'm going to lift until I feel resistance. As soon as I feel resistance, I release it and go overhand, uppercut, overhand. Okay, so I'm just grabbing the elbow here and trying to move the arm. Now again, if he's really tight, I can just use this to help me circle his body, and I can throw the same shots. Now if this is boxing or Muay Thai, you got to make sure that you're not throwing illegal shots. For self-defense, this is all good. I have to look out for his overhand too, but by shoving his body this way, it's hard for him to throw that hand over. Okay, and as soon as I release, I want to try to bring my cover up and fire back my shots. Okay, I can have the top position, so maybe we clash and we come in. I have the top position. I can do the same scoop from the top. I'm going to fire here until I feel him pull back down. Go overhand, upperhand, overhand. Overhand, uppercut, overhand. Okay. If he feels pressure from the top, and he lifts, like he resists by lifting his arm. So I'm in here and he lifts his arm. Okay, I can just ride that up and scoop up, and then I can go uppercut. Okay, and you guys can't see that, so I'm gonna switch it around. So if I close the gap, let's start strike. Okay, we clash, but I've got, I'm here and he lifts up. I can go with an uppercut, okay? So I'm gonna lift his elbow by uppercut. I'm gonna pull the arm back fist and set up my shot. Now this could set up my knees. This can set up my strikes, my punching. But this is just, from here, this is just a nice kind of a overhook position. If we were in close, if this was a grappling, this would be the overhook here. We do this a lot in Muay Thai. This is just kind of a long guard version of that. So from here, I scoop it out, but he doesn't like that. And sometimes guys will push like this. So if he pushes and lifts, and I feel that, I can just kind of yield with that and then throw the uppercut, bang. And then I can pull and hit. This could be a back fist. This can just be the forearm. I like to get the palm on the jaw, turn the head away, and again, as soon as I feel him pushing back into me, that's when I release and go with my overhand. Okay? So turn the head away. The shot he doesn't see is the one that hurts the most. And I can kind of, I can influence his spine by turning his head. I can feel his body, a little more control. And as soon as he's pushing back, that's when I fire. Okay? I would aim for his ear jaw, right where his ear meets his jaw. If this was self-defense, I didn't want to break my hand on his head, I could just chop down with my forearm and my ridge hand here, knife hand. All right, so that's the under scoop, the over scoop, and then if he lifts, you scoop up an uppercut, and then pull back and pin. Okay, so that is all upper body technique. Okay, that's if he's pliable or he's moving. Sometimes he's a brick. So you got a guy who's really strong, really heavy. He doesn't want to move at all. Okay, so I'm in here. And I can't get any openings. I can't pull anything open. Here I'm just going to pivot, step out. I'm going to go with a lead hook, and I'm going to turn myself back into my cover. So it's a pivot and another swing. I'm in here. He's not moving. I'm going to step out. Okay. If we're both pushing at each other, I move. Look where Dan goes. Dan kind of falls forward. I'm going to use that. Okay. So we're here pushing. I step out. Boom. Yeah, right there. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm going to turn it around. So we're in here kind of pushing. I'm going to step out. Hook to the body. Okay. And then hook, cross hook. Okay. The footwork's a little tricky, so I'm going to go slow. Okay, I'm just stepping out here. Okay, step one, step two. And I'm just going to turn my base so that my lead is now facing this way. I was here, step and turn. That loads my hips and my shoulders so I can throw this hook to the front. All right, so we're back one more time. We're just going to work on what do we do if I close the distance and I can't move him, he's too big. So I strike on my way in. So throw a 4 count, come in, push. I can't move him, he's pushing into me. So I'm just going to yield and pivot out, throw a body hook, hook, cross hook. Okay? Second one, again, is he's pushing into me, I can't move him. It's kind of a stalemate. I can step off the side and throw a spinning back elbow. So I just want to take my foot to the outside. We're both in tight, pushing. Maybe we're up against the cage. Step, throw a back elbow, just make sure you don't hit your holder. Throw back over, come back. And then I like to step through with it down. If a guy has his cover up, so we're pushing, but maybe he keeps his cover up, keeps his hand up. And I step through and I run into the cover here. When I spin back, I can turn my palm out and use this to move the cover out of the way, or I can use this to help me pivot around and reach the target. Okay, so you can use your cover. You don't want to reach and grab, but my hands are up anyway. So as I pivot back, I can use that to just shift the cover, try to shift the cover out of the way. Okay, so that is all upper body technique. Okay, where's the dirty boxing from the lower body? okay? One of the things I like to do, you know, Muay Thai, it's pretty common for people to throw the inside leg kick. We're gonna do the same thing, same thing, it's just in the clinch range, okay? So if I'm here, I'm just gonna knee bump with the inside or top of my thigh. I'm gonna turn this and drive my hip through, okay? Depending on how close you are, you make contact with your hip, you make contact with your leg. Okay, so we're in close here. I'm just gonna bump him off to the side there. And see, I'm just disrupted his step. Dan's not really helping, he's being a good partner, but I'm just gonna try to move him just enough to create this opening in the middle. So I can fire that uppercut like before, hook and cross. So just enough here to separate us, bang, and then here's my shot. I don't know if you guys can see that, we'll go sideways here. But here we're in the clinch, okay? Bang it out. See, now I have the gap, boom, hook and cross, and back out. So it's just a little bump. It could be forceful, it could be it can follow with the shoulder too, so you know it can start down low, and then I hit with the shoulder as well. But everything just to create the gap. Maybe the first bump doesn't do the job, and that sets up any of the other things we do. Just like when we did double shoulder, or we did shoulder and up. Maybe if my knee works here, I don't get that, but maybe I can go up and shoulder his head. And just all part of the game. Okay, so that's our first low line. Second low line is a shin press. Okay, so if I'm in here, I can just bring my foot over behind his foot here, and now I have a shin, and I just knee down, and that breaks his balance. You have to be careful not to hurt your partner's knee. I'm going to make sure the camera. Okay, the second one's hard to see. So the shin press, just so you guys can see it, we're going to get up closer to the wall. So I'm in tight here. Okay, I'm going to shift my foot over so it's next to his, and my foot is almost a little bit behind his heel. Now as I press forward, I'm straight. I'm locking it out. It's just like doing an ankle pick. And pressing with the shoulder, but I'm just doing it with my shin just enough to disrupt him so I can get that inside line again. Because again, if we're in tight here and I just want to try to punch him in the face, okay? So push it, I'm just gonna grab, push it, bang, right there. Then hook, cross hook. Wow. Okay. Again, it's pretty dangerous. If he does it to me, just so you guys can see it, he just presses forward like that. And you have to be careful not to hyperextend your partner's knee. I'm not saying you're going to break the guy's knee every time. I'm not saying the guy's going to fall every time. This is just part of the bumping and the little harassing movements that we're going to do to try to gain advantage. Also, sometimes it's just a distraction. So if I make him think about his balance down low, it might make it easier for me to do something up high. Okay. So we have the inside leg bump. We have the knee press. And all right, so another one you guys might be familiar with is just stepping on the foot. So if I'm in here, we're in here in the boxing range. If I have to step on his foot and I give him a push, that can destabilize him enough that I can strike or re-pummel or shoot for the takedown. I think everybody who's ever boxed is familiar with the stepping on the front foot. Another one I like to do, especially from the clamshell guard here, is my arm is already in the low line position, so I can put pressure on his hip, and that's going to help me attack his front leg. So from here, as soon as I make contact, I'm going to push on his hip. I'm going to pull his leg, okay? And once I have the opening, cross hook, cross. And that might look a little funny, but if we're in here, he's pushing into me, okay? I'm just going to sweep it out. There we go. Uppercut, hook, cross. Okay, so it just pulls their base out. They just lose their balance a little bit and sets them in a bad position. So again, I'm in tight. My hand is already down here by the hip. I'm just going to push and drive the hip and then strike. Okay, it's just a sweep. You could sweep without the press, but he can just kind of follow along unless I keep his hip pushed away. So I want to keep his hip out so that he comes down. And then I can strike. Okay. Now, if you start messing with somebody's inside of their leg, they might just pick up their leg and try to step out. So we're in here. If he goes to step out, I'm I'm gonna kick out his base leg. Okay, so it's a inside sweep to a side kick to the knee. Okay, again, might not be legal for ring, but for self-defense, it's a good technique. Okay, so your 4 lower body attacks, we have the knee bump. Bump, bump. We have the shin press. I have the press and pull. Okay, that's from Silat, Indonesian martial arts, Kali, and then the foot step. Okay, just a foot step, or I have the sweep and the knee kicking out the back knee. Okay, so upper body, lower body, dirty boxing techniques. Lots of different follow-ups. We didn't go into all of them, but that should give you a little something extra to add to your clinch game, and just some fun stuff to study. So if you guys really like it, make sure you guys hit subscribe so you can see the next videos, and give us a like, and then check us out on Facebook, our website, and on all places here, there, and thither. I don't know what I'm saying. I can cut all that out. Okay, so if you guys like that, go ahead and give that, smash that subscribe button, give us a like, and we'll see you next time.